In this video, we will be discussing about some of the configuration parameter that we should have it from the day 0. So first let's go through the global parameter. So you go to the system setting. The first parameter is banner. Okay, so there are like you configure the banner in NX. So it's the similar way there is a banner option for the controller and the switch. So here you can configure the banner that you want on the controller and the banner what you want to have on the switches. So the banner that you put on the switch CLI, that will be applied to all the switches. So whenever you log into the controller switch, it will be display with this specific banner. The second is epic connectivity preference. So the epic you log in using in-band or out-band. So the default is out-of-band management. One of the option you see here is globally is encryption setting for all configuration in import and export. So basically, when you export or import configuration, if you don't enable that encryption, all the configuration will be saved without the password. Okay, and it's also not encrypted. Uh, so the recommendation way is you enable this. So there are 16 digit of password that you need to put it, but remember that password, because in the worst case scenario, if you lose your configuration for any of the event and you want to push the configuration back, you need to have this password available. The control plane MTU is 9000. So this is the MTU mainly used for the control plane between ISIS and PGP. So I think 9000 that we have, it's a default value, and this should be enough. Okay, then we have a endpoint control. In the endpoint control, there are three features: endpoint loop protection, allow endpoint control, and IP edging. So let's discuss about endpoint loop protection. So the recommendation is to enable, and default timer is this, loop detection interval 60 and loop detection multiplication factor 4. So basically it says within a 60 second, if there is more than 4 time move happen for the MAC address, so it's basically for the MAC address. If MAC address moves from one port to another port and it happens more than 4 times within a 60 second, your action will be taken. So that is a action. You have a two option: be DLAN disable or port disable. So default option is a port disable. Within a 60 second, more than 4 times MAC moves or endpoint moves, your port will be disabled. Log endpoint is there also if there is any endpoint which moves more than 4 times within a 60 second. Then there is a so instead of in the endpoint loop detection, we see the action is disable the port, but here instead of disabling the port, it create a static entry for the log endpoint, and it hold till the 1800 seconds. So that is a default timer. um, and once the timer is expired, it deletes that entry and it try to relearn the entry again. And this feature is look at the endpoint for both local and remotely, and the endpoint is considered for both IP and MAC. So either you can have a EP loop protection or log endpoint control. You can't have both the option enabled. IP edging feature is basically track and edge is the unused IP address of the endpoint. So if there is IP address which is not used, so like it was learned earlier but it is not used, it will be edged out. So how the ACI detect this, that it try to send the ARP query at the 75% interval of the endpoint, and if there is no response, then that entry will be deleted from the EP table. Okay, then we have a fabric wide setting. These are the options we'll discuss later or in some other video. Let's discuss about the port tracking. So this feature should be enabled, it should be on. So basically it tracks all the southbound port. So say I would say is access port. If you have a all access port, okay, sorry, tracks your uplink port, port between leaf and spine. So if your all uplink port between leaf and spine goes down, it bring down the southbound port access port as well. Otherwise, if you have this port tracking off, and if your uplink goes down between leaf and spine, your southbound port will be still up, and traffic coming to the southbound port will be dropped. So this option should be enabled. BGP route reflector policy. So this is in the case when your ACI fabric is layer 3 and you are using the VRF. So by default in the ACI, your spine is acting as a route reflector, and there will be the common AS across the entire ACI fabric. So that AS number you need to put it here, and you'll have to define the your spine. So if you click on by default, the option you will have is for the spine only. It's a spine node, that your spine will become the route reflector, but you will have to configure that. Without that, the route between two left leaf will not be exchanged. Thank you for watching this video.